So obviously the government announcement today, which was welcome news. There's going to be a compensation package for capture victims. It's just how the look and feel and shape of that looks in the next few months, I guess. So, we start with people that were convicted. They've got a journey through the CCRC to start with, which is essentially application CCRC, for them to review it, to factor it in with all the other applications that they receive, and then to put things back in front of the Court of Appeal. So the more people that apply, the better the information that's held by the CCRC is, the easier it'll be to get it before the Court of Appeal. So that's a process that's underway. Alongside that, government's committed to a compensation scheme for those that weren't prosecuted and convicted but suffered because of capture. And we had a meeting today with government officials and a number of the affected sub-postmasters, and the noises were positive. It's about sitting down and working collaboratively to come up with a scheme that is consistent with all the other schemes, but is fast, is fair, is simple. So we left that meeting with a commitment to supply them with government with further information on the cohort of clients that we've got, which will hopefully help inform where the major issues are and what comes next. The problem we've got with capture is magnified from the problems with Horizon. Some of the problems with Horizon are based on the earlier period where there was a lack of documentation, failing memories, where you can actually expand that into capture. And one of the problems is we're not totally sure how many victims of capture there were. There aren't as many victims as there were of Horizon, but still it appears to be potentially multiples of hundreds. And of that, only a fairly small cohort has come forward. The reality is probably more of those people have passed away than would have done that were affected by Horizon, so we're relying on family members. Very often people were quite secretive, so family members may not know what had gone on with their parents. And so it really is quite a difficult exercise in many respects, and some of that is actually nailing down the size of the cohort that were victims of this newer aspect of the scandal. In terms of timelines, nothing will ever come quick enough for these people. It's 25 years plus since they were victims, so tomorrow's not soon enough, but we've got to be realistic. For the criminal prosecutions, there's a process. It's got to go through a process which involves an application to the CCRC. We're helping people with that to put them in there as soon as possible. We've got 5 in there, we've another 20 or so to get in there, and the more that's in there, the quicker they'll put the jigsaw together. With the scheme, there's been lots of schemes, all have got their shortcomings, and I think that we're in a healthier position in that we've got victims that are part of a process around how a scheme will look involved in the early conversations. So the quicker we can push on that, the quicker we can have our input as to what a scheme should look like, the quicker that can come out of the box. So we're hoping the early months of 2025, but the reality is that we don't hold the purse strings and it's not our scheme, so all we can do is push, work collaboratively, give the government input and see how that shapes up.